One of the most important tools of the Vertex 360 is the screen that shows all 5 hand movements. And so what we're going to do is make a little weld, and we're going to show you how that laser screen is interpreted and how you can use that for effective training. I'm going to have Jordan go ahead and make a weld. We can take a look at that. Got a pretty decent looking weld there. Sounds good. But I'm going to have him take and pull the arc a little too far away. So why don't you go ahead and do a long arc out a little more. And I can hear that, just like regular welding. I can hear that he's long arcing that. Go ahead and go in a little closer. In a little more. Now go a little too fast. Go ahead, go fast. Very good. So I can take a look at that weld, and I can see I had a pretty good looking weld. Then I started getting some porosity, and then I outran my puddle. Again, the importance of listening to and watching that puddle. But if they're a novice welder who's learning, how can you use that laser screen to help correct that? So we're going to come over to the laser screen. We're going to hit end pass, which gives us a score. And I can analyze each of those 5 hand movements. And so the first thing I ran into trouble was the porosity that we saw. And so the way this thing works is it follows how a person likes to learn. They do an action, which is a weld. Then you get the result of the action here. Then you get the consequence of the action. And after you get the consequence, you get the corrective action. And it becomes a loop. That's why it's what I call instantaneous learning. The student can do that all on their own once they learn how to use this laser screen. Very intuitive and not difficult to use. And so again, we had our action up here. And in the action, I noticed his contact to work distance was too far away. His hand was too far away. I can see that on the yellow, which is the yellow movement. I went outside of my limits. But then what is the consequence of that? So down here on the laser screen, we have the AWS discontinuities. And AWS discontinuities are such things as porosity, convexity, incomplete fusion, wrong weld size, those things that you teach in regular welding. And so here, when you long arc it, we know when I'm doing regular MIG welding, I long arc it, I lose my gas flow, I get porosity. So we see that. But also the laser screen shows you got porosity 29% of the time. We saw that we got incomplete fusion 6% of the time. That's down here where we went too fast and missed the joint. And so now I can use the screen to find out what I did wrong and the consequence. But remember, I said it also gives corrective action. So I'll turn all 5 of these back on. And I noticed the other thing was my travel speed. I had trouble with the travel speed, or Jordan had trouble with that. And so what I'm going to do is do a corrective action on 2 things at one time. I'm going to do a corrective action on how far in and out I'm going, which is contact to work distance, and the travel speed. I'll turn these back on. I'll come over to actions and cues, and I'll do one for travel speed. I'll do one for contact to work distance. I'm going to give him a new coupon, and I'm going to have Jordan make another weld. Now he can take and do a focus on them. And I'm going to look at what he sees through this screen here. Go ahead. And you notice I have a speedometer up there. The speedometer is very much like the speedometer in a car. When I'm going the right speed, it's green. And you notice when he's going the right distance in and out, it's green. When he keeps those 2 green, those 2 welds, or those 2 aspects of the weld are going to be very good. While he's doing that, let's come over to the laser screen here. Now you can see he's tracking very well. I can see that his yellow is right down the middle. His contact to work distance is good. He's not getting any discontinuities like he did before. And I can see that his travel speed is dead on. So he's getting the right weld size and he's getting the right fusion. Now we hit the end pass. And now he got an 89 on the score. So his score ramped up dramatically on that. You notice in the beginning his position was a little off, that it hurt his score a little bit, and you can see on the consequence of that, he was low on his weld. So what you do is you just do that again. So he's got much better, a little more work to do. So what the instructor would do is say, Jordan, I would like you to do 5 of those in a row. I want you to have a 90 or better on your welds, 5 in a row with no discontinuities. And when you can achieve that, then you can go down the shop floor. Now you're ready to do that blended learning, where now I'm ready to progress to the next level and then show what I learned and showed my skill in the actual weld shop. And so that's how that laser screen gives you that instant feedback. on what you did wrong, the consequence of that, how to correct it, and it became that instantaneous learning loop, which helps you learn not only better, but helps you learn faster.